Hey, good morning. So today I'm going to make something a little nicer for dinner. I have some chicken thighs I defrosted and I have a rub that I put together myself. It does require quite a few ingredients out of the pantry, but there's always leftovers for another meal, which I plan to do this weekend. So let's head on over to the counter and get started. Is this wonderful bacon chipotle I got at the grocery store. I've been adding this to everything. It is so delicious. So you need a half of a tablespoon of any sort of chipotle seasoning that you have at your local grocery store. We need a half of a tablespoon of the paprika. Let's see. A half of a tablespoon of onion powder. A half of a tablespoon of kosher salt. I'm sure regular salt would be fine, but this is nice because it's coarse. A quarter tablespoon of brown sugar, light or dark, it doesn't matter. A quarter teaspoon of cumin, a half of a teaspoon of garlic powder, half of a teaspoon of chili powder or to taste, a half of a teaspoon of dry mustard, and a quarter teaspoon of pepper. As you can see, this does make quite a bit of rub. I usually have some leftovers, and I put it in a little container and save it for next time. We used this on some wings around football season. And I also used barbecue sauce on wings and asked everybody's opinion, and they preferred this over the barbecue sauce. So this is a really, really good rub. Okay, I've got my chicken thighs all nice and cleaned up and trimmed a little bit. How I'm going to cook this tonight is in the air fryer, of course, which means I need to add a little bit of olive oil to it. I put some seasoning in there. I'm just going to mush these all around, get them coated, put them in the refrigerator. Let's see, it's 12 o'clock, so they're going to sit for about 5 hours. That should give them plenty of time to marinate. See, I didn't even use the whole thing, and you can see that it was more than enough, and I have this reserved. I'm making little potatoes with this. I'm thinking about adding this to the potatoes, but I'm not sure if it's going to be too strong. I'll have to give that some thought today. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so we've waited about 5 hours. Take the chicken out now. And now I'm going to spray my pan first, even though I've got olive oil on it. It scared the cats there. See how nice that looks? It's going to be good. So I'm really glad I decided to go with the chicken tonight because it was really nice and sunny this morning. But it is cooler as the afternoon went on and some clouds rolled in. So it's going to be a good night for kind of a warmer meal. I'll tell you, I got this chicken, and because it was thighs and not skinned, I got it on sale for like $4. So basically, I'm feeding my family for $4. Really good price. Doesn't that look lovely? Over here. So I'm going to put it in the air fryer. The reason I use my air fryer so much is because summer's coming and this puts out very little heat. I mean, you can put your hand around it when it's cooking and feel very little heat. And I just cannot stand in the summertime to sit down and have a meal and be uncomfortably hot. So I try and use as much as I can in my air fryer or the Instapot because I'm sure not going to barbecue 7 days a week. Okay, so let's turn it on. Mine happens to have all these little icons. So I'm just going to go over to the chicken one. And that's 360 degrees and 20 minutes. See, it clicks right on there, and we'll get it started. So I gave it some thought and decided I'm not going to use my rub on the potatoes tonight because I really want to use it for something different. Flip my board over. So I'm going to do my own seasoning on my potatoes. Not everybody in my family likes potatoes. So I'm only going to use enough for about 3 servings. That's good. Okay. And once again, of course, I'm going to air fry these. Okay. Yeah, my husband likes to barbecue a lot in the summer. I very rarely will go out and barbecue because I don't like the bugs. We get meat bees or the yellow jackets. And as soon as they smell that barbecue going, they start hanging around and the mosquitoes come out and it's just gross. Okay. So I'll put everybody in there. Grab some olive oil. I'll be right back. Sprinkle a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to go ahead and just, use the same old. Some onion powder, which is always delicious on potatoes. And garlic powder. Some pepper. And some salt. Give those a flip around. hands. My little cat's staring at me. Put these down. They know it's dinner time. And as soon as the chicken is ready, I will let it rest and then let these cook, because these cook up really fast in the air fryer. All right, we'll be back when the chicken's done. Okay, so the chicken's done. I think next time I'm going to line my tray with some aluminum foil. It does get kind of dirty. Can you see that? And I read the directions and it didn't say anything about not lining it, so I'm sure it'd be just fine. Okay, so here's the chicken. Look how perfect that cooked. A trick I learned, when you take it out, because the tray does have holes, to put it on some tin foil or some paper towels. And I did flip it 4 minutes through. You really don't have to with this kind of air fryer. It's not like the basket, because the air does circulate around it better and you don't have to shake it around. But this side was looking a little more done than that side, so I did flip them. And I'm going to let these rest while I do the potatoes. Doesn't that look lovely? Then you just take the tin foil and cover up your chicken. And here's the potatoes. Put it back in. Now there isn't a setting for vegetables, so it's automatically preset for 380, but I know to roast vegetables you want to do it at a higher temperature, so I'm going to raise it to 395. And for the time, I'm going to go 5 minutes and then check, whoops, backwards. I'm going to go 5 minutes and then check them, because if I forget, they might get a little too crisp. Okay, start. They're in there. All right, we'll be back. So I did take another 5 minutes on the potatoes. They weren't quite brown enough. Obviously, if you like yours browner, but they're fork tender. The house smells amazing. Perfect dinner for tonight. And so what we're having with it is I heated up some green beans. This is a yeast roll that I buy already made. And this is the brand. It's Sister Schubert's dinner yeast rolls. I've tried other brands before, but these are absolutely delicious. I do like to make my own rolls, but that is a start in the morning type of thing. So basically, this whole meal, because the chicken was only $4, the potatoes I already had, green beans I got on sale for 50 cents, and I don't know how much each roll would cost. But this meal is something wonderful to feed the family. And if you can only smell how the kitchen is, it is definitely something that we like to have, and you don't need to have an air fryer to make this. You could cook this in the oven. I have a little toaster oven that I use. You could put this on the barbecue, but when you think about the time it took to put together the rub, it was about 5 minutes, and then just let it sit all day or all night. But this meal took 30 minutes total in the air fryer. So not bad to get a meal ready in 30 minutes and on the table. All right, well, if you like this recipe, and I know you will, let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice evening.